Alright, welcome to a tournament report. How exciting. This is a tournament report for Christmas Carnage, which I went to in early December this month, last week in fact. It is a 4-game tournament. It was played in Bristol Independent Games in Bristol in the UK. It was 2,300, so 2,300 points. 4 games, which is quite tight. What other things do you need to know about this tournament? It had a standard scoring system, so a 20-0. So you got 15 for a victory, 10 for a draw, and 5 for a loss. And then you adjusted plus or minus according to how much you killed. So I don't like them, I'm going to be honest with you. I prefer objective-based ones, because at least then you can get some more points. Once your stuff's dead, your stuff's dead. But, you know, it's alright. It is what it is. So to this tournament, I was taking my new orcs, my new orc force, and here it is. So this is the force I've been painting in my hobby videos. If you haven't watched those, thanks for your support. I'm quite pleased with it, how it came out. It's nice. So I've got 4 regiments of Morax and 2 hordes of Axe. One of which has got the Caterpillar Potion, and one of which has got the Orcish Skull Pole, which you can immediately forget about, as I did for all 4 games. I've got 2 Skulk Outriders and 2 Orklings, so that's all my chaff together there. Double War Drum, a Crudger with the Wild Charge banner, a Crudger on a Winged Slasher, a Flagger with the Loot, a Crusher on a Gore, so he's my little nimble, fast hero guy, and a Godspeaker with Banechant and Veil of Shadows to go with his natural Fireball. That's my list. It's very simple, which I think you need if you're 4-game tournament. Bear in mind, I haven't played in a tournament for quite a while since Clash of Kings. 4 games in a day is pretty shattering, especially since it's a 50-minute clock for 2,300, which is tight. So you need an army you can just literally push forward and not care about, which is what this one is. The basic plan is, depending on whether you've got shooting in the opposing force, the Morax go first against shooting, the Axe go first against non-shooting, and then you jump your Orklings and your Skulk Outriders in front as they're going to charge, you chaff them off, and then you smash them. That's it. Very simple. So let's have a look at Game 1 against John. So you may know John. He is part of the Moonrakers. He is often posted as Costra Belorn, his pronunciation, on places such as Kings of War Fanatics. Sometimes puts extremely funny videos on YouTube. He's a very, very nice man, absolute gentleman, real old school gentleman. Big fan of John and his work. And this is his list. So, it is not finished yet. There's so much of it, I've had to put an extra bit on top. But bear with me. There's 3 hordes of rabble, 2 regiments of Luggit gangs, one of which has sharpness. They've both got Morpups. And they've all got custom names, as you can see here. So the rabble are called the Giant Killers, the Fence Guardians, and the Wolfsbane. And they're all based on what they're based on. The Giants Killers has a Mantic Giant that's dead, and they're all over it. It's brilliant. Anyway, a Mincer Mob called the Mince Size. It's a Christmas tournament, see, mince pies. I'm going to stop. So he's given them the Skirmisher's Boots, which is the right thing to do. So I think these chariot troops are the best units to put Skirmisher's Boots on to give them nimble. Very smart. 3 big rock throwers, a giant, double Flagget, one of which has the Trickster's Wand for Hex, and then 2 whizzes, one of whom has got Inspiring and Banechant to go with Lightning Bolt, and one of which has got the Edge Periscope to allow them to shoot over their own units with Banechant and Hex, so double Hex. And then Grupp Longnail, the special hero, who is great. And then he's got the formation, which looks like this. So double Fleabag Riders, one with Strider, one with Caterpillar, and a King on Fleabag with a Loot of Insatiable Darkness. So the special rule they've got is that they roll a 6, it's resolved with Blast D2. Or Blast 2, I think. Each 6 is Blast 2. But they also do a point damage to themselves. So they're kind of like crazy blowing themselves up. I think it's really fun. That's John's list. It does what it needs to do, I think. This is the best thing about playing a Moonraker. They give you a little statue. It's literally one of my favourite things in the world. I've got 2 of these now. Very nice. Anyway, here is our terrain. I haven't think right, here we go. So, these are also John's legs. Another pack of mince pies here. Nice to see. You will see mince pies on most tables. It's Christmas. There's 2 height 3 hills here. There's a height 6 house and 2 height 6 forests. A height flat lake, and then 2 height, 2 walls. A bit sparse, table-wise, terrain-wise, especially feeling sparse facing 3 rock lobbers, but at least he hasn't got any wingets or anything, so there's that. Also, we did adjust the terrain because this hill, to start with, was within 12 of the board edge, and I kind of politely asked the TO if I could move it, and he said yes, so that's nice. You can see here my ruler holding this one from 12 inches, so yeah. Maybe we should move these forests back a bit. Anyway, we did what we did, so here is our deployment. So we are playing, what are we playing? Control. So Control is the one where you have the board split into 6 segments. There's a nice token telling me how to do it. The other one I know is in the middle of this house. Right? So if I can, any segment is worth 1. However, your opponent's central segment is worth 2 to you and 1 to them. So that one's worth 2 to me and that's 1 to me. Okay? So it's a green off. There's lots of unit strength on both sides, lots of units on both sides. I've got a pretty simple plan, which is as you can see here. So I've deployed either side of this forest. I've got, I think these are the guys with Caterpillar. Yes, they are. And they've got Caterpillar because you should always deploy opposite terrain, not into terrain. So I can come in here. The plan is that this is your punchy bit, right? I'm going to punch in here. And then we're just going to keep as many of the other sides as we can. The way John is deployed, so this is rabble, right? This is the nimble, what's the name? Mince mob. These are the hitting on 3s Luggett gang, the rock throwers. This is the other Luggett gang, and then these are the explodomatic bang sticks. I think this is the one with Caterpillar. Giant, and then smattering of characters. This is Grupp Longnail. Right, so he's the fighty character. So you can see he's put quite a lot of his hitty stuff here. So my intention, by deploying that as we deployed, is these guys are coming up here, and then I'm going to take 1 unit of Morax this way to face off. So he can send his fast cav into my Skulk Raiders, and then I'm going to kill him with Morax, and then everything else I hope I've got enough hitting power to get off, and I hope that he misses with his rock throws. I've got my crusher here, and the intention here is to take him into the rock throws and take them out, and I've just got this guy who's going to sit in the middle and be a pain in the ass. That's my plan. So you can see I've got 4 Morax there, and I've got double axe behind them, which is the plan when you've got shooting. You're facing shooting. Morax are fearless; they go in the front. War drum, and then just chaff. That's the Crudger. This is a mistake. This was a definite mistake. So I left my wizard in the forest, which means he can be seen, which means he can be hexed by that and hexed by that. So I should have left him behind the forest. Live and indeed learn. So it's just showing the deployment on the side. And then deployment again. More of John's legs. That's his brilliant giant. Isn't that great? I'm super customised. And that's my stuff, which I will show you. And there it is again. Turn 1! Which John won. He started to give it to me and then he changed his mind. Boo, shame. So he pushed forward on the left here, and he pushed forward on the right here. So, interestingly to me, he's put both of his explodomatic bang stick units, these Fleabag riders, to go this way. Right, so he's not worrying about this side anymore, which is good for me, because now my Morax and whatever they are, I've only got this 1 rabble to worry about. He's moved his giant down and turned this way. So waiting, hoping that I would come in charge and then he can giant me in the flank. Okay. That's his. So he fires his war engine. He fires all of them at this war drum because he can see it, and he does 5 points of damage, which is pretty sick. And of course, he hexed my wizard. So in response, I decided that I wasn't going to cast with the wizard. I didn't bother. I was going to Veil of Shadows, but then I thought, I'd rather he was not shootable next turn, and I didn't take any damage. So we move forward like this. So I've got my. Is everything right? So I've got my Morax within charge range of this rabble, but out of charge range of these guys, because I think I can take rabble and then I can wipe them out with everything else. And I've moved forward pretty aggressively. So I've moved my Skulk Raiders, whatever they are, forward here to well within charge range of pretty much everything. but then I've moved my my winged slasher, so this is a front from everything, including the giant. That's a poorly drawn line. And that's even worse. Hooray! So even the giant is in his front. He can't be charged, neither can this guy. Having realised we're not going over here, I don't really care if rabble hindered charge into Morax. So I've enacted my plan by putting the Morax that way, but I've moved these guys over here as well to act as more chaff, because I think looking at what he's got here, I can out-chaff him pretty much the whole game. I've got Orclings, I've got double sculpts, I've even got a Crudger. All of that is chaff. Even the War Drum is chaff. To allow me to then come in with my hitter units. So I'm feeling good about that. Less good about the left side, but we'll see how we go. Turn 2. So he took the charge. The bait. So the what they're called rabble came into my Morax. So they're going to get flanked next turn. He's kept this unit of Luggit Gang just out of 14, which is the maximum charge of these guys with wild charge. I've got lots of 6s. But he's brought his Mincer Mob up quite far, sensibly. Then on this side, so he's simply moved everything up a little bit. So he obviously charged the rabble in to block this up here. But he's conscious I've got these guys up here, so he's kept. I think this is just outside of 18, but these guys are in. So he wants me to charge these Boots of Striding ones, because then he can just crush me with both of these. But and with the giant, let's see what I do in response. And then, he really rolling rather well with his catapults. He shot at my my Crudger on Wing Slasher and did 5 points of damage to him, so he's not very happy. Rabble did 2 points of damage to my Morax. And Rabble did 2 points of damage to the Skull Raiders, who are then fine. Okay, so in response, so from here, we go back a little bit so you can see. Right. So you can imagine the Rabble are now here. Right. I've then charged in with this unit and this unit countercharge into the Rabble. Okay. Where has he gone and where has he gone? We'll see that shortly. I move them out of the way to enable me to do that. So there we go. So you will see. Oh, triple charge. So there's the Crudger. Went in first into the Rabble, followed by the counter charge from the Skulks, which allowed then this unit to come in here, hindered, but nonetheless. So I'm using everything up. This unit, who was on the wall here, if you remember, took a hindered charge into this unit of guys, whatever they're called. What are they called? Fleabag Riders. Right, I took that hindered charge because it blocks up this whole line very annoyingly. You'll see this little white square here. That white square there is my Crudger on Wing Slasher, because I looked at the deployment units and I realised that the Crudger on Wing Slasher could fit in here against the other ones and nothing else can see him. So this unit can see him, obviously, but it can't get in because it's blocked by my Skull Raiders. Okay, and the giant's facing the wrong way. So I thought that was a pretty good use. It really, these are his two main hammers on this side. This one's good too, but actually he can't do anything against me while everything's there. Oh, that's probably the wrong way around if you think about it. Turn your heads. Yeah, it's just showing you, so nothing sorry. You will see at the top of the screen that I've brought my Crusher up because I want to get him into those war engines as soon as possible. Oh, I've forgotten to rotate some screenshots. I do apologise. That's terrible of me. So on the left-hand side, this is I have multi-charge as predicted into that rebel. We're back the correct way, and in fact, I kill them. Bablam. They die completely, and I reform like this. So I'm essentially sacrificing one unit. So the Mincer Mob is going to kill this unit of Morax probably, and then I've got a horde of Axe ready to come in and counter-charging, and he can send his Luggit Gang into this one, but they're going to be hindered, so I'm not bothered by that. We do 12 wounds to this rabble, and we waver them, which is actually alright, I guess. I'd rather kill them, but a waver will take. And the Wing Slasher rolls like a boss and kills off this unit of Fleabags, which is pretty great. I am going to take a charge probably next turn, but I basically turn so that it's a front. So even if this unit of Fleabags, instead of attacking my Skull Raiders, it backs up an inch, it will be able to see me. I couldn't avoid that. However, it's going to be a front. Yes, it is. So this is not exactly... We measured it out. Basically, this hill, we couldn't quite get the base on the hill, but essentially it's turned enough so that it's a front, even though you can see me. Right? I think so, anyway. It's showing the same thing. So I think I didn't do any wounds. Is that what that's showing? Yes, they didn't do any wounds. That's just showing, I think, the counter charge. Yep, that was the counter charge. So on this side, he decides he really needs to get rid of that unit of Morax, so he sends both units in to my Morax. And, oh look, that's how we ended up. That's interesting. So what he's done, yes, that's right. So it's worth noting on this left-hand side, he's simply been backing up this rabble so that I can't charge him. So instead of attacking me with the flea bags, did I do something clever and not let him charge me because of the deployment of units? I think he probably could. Anyway, whatever. He's backed up these flea bags. He's left those flea bags where they are, and he sent the giant into the flank of these guys. Who he kills, obviously. And then he's turned around. I think he did charge them in. Maybe he didn't. How strange. I could have just flown off. Wonder why I didn't. So he kills off my Morax, unsurprisingly. There's 12 wounds, and they died. And I then choose, this is now turn 3. Or my turn? My turn 3. My turn 3. And I've got a note about turn 3 in a minute, which I'm going to come to. However, I decide there's no point in me flying the dragon off over here somewhere. I actually want to use him to distract things because everyone else is going to come in this way in a minute. So I'm sacrificing this guy who's already on 6 wounds. He took a wound. There you go. Something did something that took a wound. Maybe it was a hit. So I send him into this unit of Luggett gang because now he's going to have to use the other units to get me. Right, so I'm sacrificing the Crudger for that. Yep, so that looks like that. And I'm bringing these Morax up just in case I can actually ever get a charge. We carry on here. So the Crudger now goes into the flank just to give me a bit more room. And everything else comes around. This unit is just chilling. Just chilling. And then over here, so I send my Orclings into the Luggett gang. Because the way that I'd positioned this unit was bad. Essentially, I was facing like this. So that when he charged in, I had no line of sight. So this turn, I sent the Orclings in as chaff. I sent the axe into the mincer. And then I brought these guys around. I couldn't rotate them off the water, unfortunately, so it would be a hindered charge. So we're hitting on 4s, but yeah, it's going to be nasty for you next turn. So 3 wounds each, which is not unexpected. I think I did get a Bane Chant off here from my banner, but even with the Bane, yeah, there it is. But even with the Bane Chant, still only 3 wounds on the mincer mob. 3 wounds from Orclings though, so a troop of Orclings hits as well as a horde of axe, Bane Chanted. Just yeah. And then I finally got my Crusher into a War Engine, killed him off. I am going to get attacked by this guy next turn. Hopefully I can survive one more turn to start taking out this range capacity. 6 wounds and a double 1 from the dragon onto this Luggett gang, so that's unfortunate for the old dragon there. He's going to get smashed. Turn 4. Right, so I want to talk a little bit about clocks at this point. So the clocks were supplied by the venue. And I noticed at the end of turn 3, John's turn 3, my clock was still ticking. So it turns out the button on top of the clock didn't work properly. And when you tapped it, it didn't switch the clock to the other person. Also, the pause button didn't work. So I've been pausing the clock to do things like take pictures, and it had not been pausing. And I looked at the clock and went, John, I've got like 9 minutes left and it's turn 3. So I can't... at this point, I kind of, do you know what? Let's just play on. We'll just play on. So John was very, very gracious about it and said, okay. And we played on. So we hit turn 4. There wasn't a lot of time on the clock left. So I think we were both playing very slow. If I'm 100% honest, I think I was probably playing significantly slower my first time playing this army. I don't think I was playing as nearly as slow as the clock was saying, for the reasons I've just explained. But the time in the round, overall time, was also running low. So as we entered turn 4, we have to start speeding up. There you go, it was 11 minutes left on my clock. You can see it here. And John's apparently had 27 minutes left. It just didn't feel right, according to the time we've been playing. So Double counter charge, as expected on this side. So we expect the Orclins to die. We do not expect the Axe to die. And then Grupp Longnail blurrily goes into the Crusher. Over here, I'm not sure what happened with this unit. I think he was lining up for a later charge, basically, but he didn't choose to send them into the flank here. Instead, he counter-charged with these guys and rear-charged with the giants. That's not going to end well. And then he's turned his horde to face this way, so he's got a line of sight both sides of that house. So, oh, that was a nice action shot there. So that's what it looks like from there. And obviously the dragon dies. Crusher. As do the Orclings. 9 damage is pretty great onto my horde, but they're feeling grand. And so then in response, and apologies for not taking decent photographs at the start, but like I say, we were suddenly starting to rush a lot. So the Moraks that were sitting at the back, you can just see them off camera here. I took them into the Luggett gang past the giant, because I think the Luggett gang is a far bigger threat. Yeah, there we go, and killed them. I think I took the Crusher. They went in the front, and the Crudger went in the sides, so that was a kill. When I took this unit of Skulk Raiders that was still hanging around went into the giant to hold him up. So my Crusher did survive the attack from Grupp Longnail with only 3 wounds and took off another War Engine, so that's going very, very successfully. And I finally got my charge here, off the lake into this Luggett gang. 10 damage and another double one, so going super for me there. However, the counter charge from my my Axe Horde did finish off the Mincer mob, which is good with the associated Bane Chant. So really that, even if they manage to kill these guys, they're done for with 10 wounds on them. So this is the game at the end of that turn. So let's have a think about it. So spoiler, I think that's the last picture. Yeah, spoiler warning. We ran out of time. We didn't just run out of time on our clock. We ran out of round time. So it got to the beginning of turns 4. It's John's turn 5. And John said, Nick, who was TOing, how much is left on the round timer? 1 minute, came the answer. And we looked at each other and went, oh, wow. And I felt really terrible. Because like I say, you know, it's not my fault the clock wasn't working, but I'm fairly certain I was probably playing slower than John. And I was the one that said, let's just not use the clocks, because it's clearly not working. We don't know how much time each of us has had. But that means we missed 2 turns of the game altogether. Because if I had timed out, let's say I had timed out and John got a turn 5, he would have been able to... So these bang sticks would probably have been able to get into the axe, but wouldn't have killed them. He'd have been able to kill that, would have died, but I think nobody can see this and reach it. So that wouldn't have changed. He'd have killed off these guys, but I've got more use. So yeah, okay. I feel less bad now. So even if John had got a turn 5, I don't think it would have made much of a difference, I'd say. So if you imagine the table a bit like this, which is your sections. So I guess he could have taken that one. He could have moved his Luggett gang back to take that one. Anyway, so the way that it panned out is that I got this section, I got this section, I got this section. John got this section. And then I got this section because it's 3. And that's 4 against 2, 3. So it's 4-3 in that section. Let's say he did manage to kill that. He would have had that section there, which would have given him, yeah, so it would have been a 3-2 to me, as opposed to a 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Yeah, so that was the end of the game. Anyway. Sorry for doing the maths live on YouTube, but it's important to do the maths sometimes, isn't it? So as you see, I think it was going very well for me, and I did manage to push the advantage. He really only had these 3 units left that were going to be able to do anything, along with some kind of spattered shooting, but I had so much unit strength left on the board. Even if I had timed out and John had managed to play his turn 5, and let's say his turn 6, I don't think it would have made a difference. Phew, okay, anyway. I would say that John was a delight to play against, genuinely. I really, really enjoyed the game. Such a nice man. Really glad I got to finally play him, and I hope to play him again soon. Not least because he gives you a present. Actually, they all gave us presents at lunchtime. The Moonrakers gave us presents, but we'll get onto that later. Let's move on to game 2. Alright, then into game 2. So game 2 was against Paul, who's also a Moonraker, but didn't have a little statue to give away, which has made me feel very sad. And he has bought Order of the Green Lady, all cavalry. So this is his Green Lady list. Extremely elite, 11 units. 2 regiments of Order of the Brotherhood, one of which has the banner that gives it Pathfinder, the other one has the Boots of Striding. And then we have 2 Orders of the Redemption. So they are the really nasty, nasty knights, and he's made them far worse by giving 1 Brew of Sharpness and 1 Blessing of the Gods. So the Brew of Sharpness one now hits on 2s. That's 20 attacks on 2s. He has 2 hordes of Order of the Forsaken. These are the flying guys. Speed 10. He's got 2 hordes of woodland critters, a greater water elemental, and then which is not cavalry, so it's not all cavalry. There you go. Ruined the theme. An avatar of the Green Lady and champion of the Green Lady, who's a nice mounted hero. So yep, that's the list. 2,300 points. Let's have a look at the old battlefield. So just very quickly in the battlefield. So obviously height 3 hills again. And I really should have made slides, but I thought you might actually like to see. Whoa, what's happened there? What's the button to turn things off? There you go. I thought you'd actually like to see this rather than have me faff around with presentations. So 2 forests, height 6, little house, height 6, 2 little height 2 walls, and a height flat piece of difficult terrain. So fairly simple. Now I should note at this point that Paul is the Fox, and he's absolutely infamous in the UK Kings of War scene for his hobby. You will note here. So, Paul has an alternative view of hobby. He is the creator of the cotton wool army. He's, however, been at Masters a number of times, so he's no slouch. He just doesn't really do hobby. Most of his hobby is borrowed, I think, from John, who is in the last game. But he has taken it upon himself to create some units. So this is how we deployed. We are playing push with 3 tokens each and the one in the middle. So I have deployed my 2 hordes of axe in the front because he has no shooting, which is a mistake, you see. So he has no shooting at all, and I realised I deployed, and I thought, what have I done? Why have I put the Orclings behind them? There's no shooting to shoot them off. Might as well just stick them in front to start with. I'm just going to make myself... I've given myself a problem, basically. This one is the one with Pathfinder. This is the one with the Skullpole that I forget about. So really, I should have started with those guys in front. There's no shooting to worry about. They could have just merrily gone on, but there you go. Standard Bearer in the middle for inspiring. War Drum over here. I think we have the second War Drum down here, just off camera. Yes. There's one of the Morax. There's number 2. There's number 3 and number 4. Okay, and then we've got our scout guys that shoot a bit. So, normally in push, I will ignore where they put their tokens, and then I will just carry on and do my tokens. But I forgot to do that in this game. I got a bit carried away. So on Paul, so he's got the guys with the clouds are the flying guys, right? Order of Redemption, or whatever they're called. These are the normal knights with this one's got the Pathfinder, this one's got the Striding Boots. That, which we'll come to in a minute, is the Water Elemental. Woodland Critters are the little hedgehogs. I've got a close-up of them in a minute. And then these are the really elite knights with the Champion of the Green Lady in the middle. Green Lady is Tinkerbell. Yep. So he's put his tokens on this Woodland Critters unit. I've put them on this unit here. This unit of Morax. Okay. And yeah, I'm slightly worried because it's a very, very fast, very punchy army, and I have got huge, huge base sizes to cover. And these guys over here are kind of wasted because none of this matters. This is the only one that matters. And getting these tokens across. So hopefully with all of this nerve here, I'll be able to survive all this and then somehow win the middle. So here we go. Just a bit of a close-up of where we are. There's a little hedgehogs. There's this monstrosity. There's the hedgehogs up close. Yep. Okay. And there's just my deployment a bit up close so you can see it. Oh, there you go. There's my Crudger in the middle. And there's the Godspeaker. Yep. So, I think, does he give me first turn? Or do I win? No, I win first turn. He would never give me first turn. I won first turn, and he was upset about it. I was like, well, tough to be you. So we moved up. I managed to rectify my mistake by moving these Orclings forward because you have speed 10 guys here. Don't quite care as much here, so I think this is out of 20. So I've moved my Orclings, and the plan is to jump them over next turn. Just have to deal with my failure to deploy properly. And then over here, so what I've done, I've moved everything up as fast as I can. So he can charge the Redemption Knights into there. But these, oh, what are they called? I have to go back and look what they're called. Can't remember what the different knights are called, sorry. Forsaken. Forsaken, no, they're the flying ones. Redemption are the hitty ones. Okay. These are Forsaken, these are Redemption. Got it. I say I'm going to forget immediately. I'm going to call them Hitty Knights and Flying Knights and Normal Knights. So, the extremely Hitty Knights, 20 attacks, are out of range. The Flying Knights are not, but if the Flying Knights come in, then they're going to get squashed. So, that's a good idea. And same over here, so I've moved everything forward. And really, I want Operation Distract all of this nonsense, which contains his most fearsome units, while we deal over here. So, that's hopefully what the Crudger on Wing Slash is going to do. So I've done 2 damage. Oh, that's my shooting. So I've managed to shoot with these guys, and these guys. And I've put 2 damage on the Flying Knights. Nice. So in response, he moves up, but cautiously. I think overly cautiously, if I'm honest with you, because he way outspeeds me. Now I do have a 13-inch charge potentially here. But he doesn't need to be that far back. I think he's mainly trying to control these guys because these guys are speed 8. So I don't think he needs to. They can't really hurt him and he's got 3 units. So anyway. And then another cautious advance here. So keeping behind the hill. And he just moved off to the side to try and put some threat down this side. So yeah, that's where we ended up. So then in turn 2, probably didn't take a photo of the dice, but turn 2, I have... so just kind of taken the bait really on the right hand side. So he left these knights within the charge range of this unit. So I went in there and moved up into this kind of arc here with my Morax. So I've got double Morax facing down here. He'll definitely kill those on the counter charge, but basically I'm just, it's distracting. And then I've just really abandoned the flank in the middle because I don't really care about it and moved these guys from where they were here across onto this hedge to offer just a minor bit of threat, but the real reason is so I can shield the Crudger on Wind Slashes. So I've decided I don't need to care about this right now, and I've moved my dragon over so they're out of line of sight of the house of these guys, so they can't hit in, and he's looking right the way down there, so that's a very threatening position to be in, which is good. Everything else has moved forward, so I've moved these guys up onto the hill, and I've said, okay, you can charge me. Not sure if that's wise or not, but is what I've done. And then also shooting from these guys. Pachow. Oh no, not there. Here. Does 4 damage onto the woodland critters. Take that. So the counter charge, of course, wipes out my Skulk riders. And he moves his other unit up here because he quite rightly realises that these 2 at speed 8 will demolish any one of my Morax units who are now very much on their own. Woodland critters drop the tokens and charge into my Skulk Raiders. Do 8 points of damage, but don't achieve the wave up, which is delicious for me, let me tell you. And then he sends his monstrosity of Water Elemental into my Orclings, does 5 points of damage and doesn't get a waiver, so I'm doing rather well. And then the other one come up on the other woodland critters comes up on the hills into the Orclings, same effect, so 4 wounds. No waiver. I'm doing rather well. Turn 3, look at the turn dice. I managed to take a photo of it. So, here's what I do. So, he's got these very threatening line of very fast guys, right, which I'm very worried about. And I don't think I'll be able to afford it. So I double charge, which I'm not sure is the right thing to do. But I double charge the Horde and the Orclings into these critters. And I double charge these Orclings and the Horde into this guy. So maybe not the wisest, but I do. It is called push. You do need to push forwards. So I am opening myself up to some nasty charges. And then what do we do here? Why do we do this? Oh, because we're wavered. We're wavered here. I'm not sure why I did this. I think just because I didn't really, there was nothing else I could do. So I backed these guys up and I moved, because you had this really threatening flank over here, I decided I was going to keep them away with my Crudger. I turned the Crudger facing this way because that's, you know, flank town, which they don't want. In the meantime, he can't really get past his woodland critters. Maybe I'm going to shoot them a bit. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. Well, let's find out. Not the best moving, is it? And then I send in, I get a good wild charge number, and I get these guys off, which very conveniently is out of line of sight. So he's mispositioned slightly with this unit. So if you enter the line of sight like this, so basically the Morax are going into these Hitty Knights, whatever they're called. You can almost say that's my list bad. And hopefully if I can take those guys off, then I'm really winning on this side. And with this Morax, I just back up like a coward. So I back up out of 16, and you've got a Quadron Wing Slasher facing down this way. So that's nice. How on earth do I kill the woodland critters? They're on 2 wounds here at the beginning of the turn. I guess I lightning bolt. No, fireball. It's a fireball. It's a fireball, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I do. So fireball 7, but buffed with all the orcs that are around him 8, 9. So fireball 9 goes into the woodland critters, and I get a good nerve roll. That's what happens. I know what happened. I was here. So woodland critters die, which is nice. These Morax, however, completely fluff everything and only do 3 wounds to the Hitty Knights, which is bad. The double charge here does 10 wounds to the water elemental. I don't roll the requisite 8. And then we kill these woodland critters. I run forward these Orclings in the hope that I can block off a double charge. However, these guys fly, so they'll easily come in. And these guys actually, just by turning, will get a nice clear line in here. They'll then shuffle down, so double charge town, not good. There it is. And worse, triple charge town on the other horde. So in one turn, I've allowed 5 units to charge 2 hordes. So the Flying Knights came from here. The other Knights came through the woods with their Pathfinder. They've got the Green Lady support. And the Water Elemental was already here. So the 2 hordes not feeling very good. So at this point, a bit brown trousers time. So both of these guys go into these Morax and kill them, as you can see. They're busy measuring things. That horde, of course, dies, which is unfortunate. However, in a critical roll, you can see there 19 points of damage from the Flying Knights and the, whatever they're called, normal Knights. Order of the, whatever they are. And a double 1. Ooh. Yeah, into turn 4 on that critical double 1. That allows me to countercharge into the Flying Knights here. And I put my Crusher into these Knights. I just need to do 1 wound. I've got a flank with Orclings, but you know, it's a flank with Orclings. And I've turned these other Orclings, just turned them round to face. And then over here, I've sent... Right, so I'll tell you what my tactics are here, which I haven't really talked about tactics in this game yet. Let's go back a bit. So, obviously, he's triple charged into this horde. He's not paying any attention to this unit, which was wavered, if you remember. He dropped his 3 tokens up there. Yeah? My 3 tokens are on... Let's see if we can find them in the screenshots. This unit here. Right? So, the plan now is distraction time. So you will see this unit is just kind of surreptitiously sneaking off because his tokens are over there. And I'm speed 8 still, haven't got any tokens on me. So what I need to do is distract. So I've sent 1 Morax into these Knights, the flying guys. these Morax with the tokens have gone into the water elemental. And I've just chucked a war drum into these guys to just hold them off for a bit. Because if I can hold everything off, it doesn't really matter. As long as this unit survives, these guys get the tokens there, and there's another token to pick up here, I can still win. And actually, it's not really relevant whether that horde survived or didn't survive, because I've got so much chaff over there, it doesn't really matter. So over here, he's got the two knight regiments looking at me. I've still got this Morax, which is just keeping out of their charge range, but it's still, annoyingly threatening. And I've turned my Cruncher and Wind Slasher this way to just face them all off, while my unit kind of surreptitiously sidles over here and picks up all the tokens. So yeah, over there, we kill off the flyer unit here with the 19 damage horde. We do 4 damage from the Orclings and the Crusher onto these knights, and they just kind of sit there. We put this guy up to 9. Still don't bloody kill him. Would need a 9 twice by that point because the Green Lady's back over here. 3 damage from the War Drum, who is feeling it today. But, critically, the Morax actually managed to roll well for once and kill off this unit of flying guys. So we're starting to wheedle down his numbers. That looks like that. You can see here, these are the tokens just kind of saying, pick me up, which I will. So, looking at the opponents he has here, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of chaff ready to go, he wisely takes off the horde. So the knights go off into the horde and kill them. Oh, turn around at this point. By the way, look at my clock. 9 minutes left. 27 minutes left. So the water elemental, who knows, it was on 9 wounds. Previously it was on 11 wounds. Because heal and regen is a pain in the ass. Like a pain in the ass, along with Radiance of Life. Anyway, does 4 damage to my regiment of Morax. The War Drum takes 5 damage from the now thunderousless horses. These guys realise what's happening and come forward, but I'm afraid it's too late. And then we send. Let's see. As I said, clock was running running low, so I've missed a couple of screenshots here. But these, both Orclings go into the knight because you can only hit one of them, so that's good. The other one's still got a chance. And then I send the Crusher, this Morax, and the War Drum into the regiment. Oh no, the Crusher plus this regiment go into the Water Elemental and finally kill it. The War Drum, these guys, and these guys go into the other Knight Regiment and kill them. Over here, I send my guys off to pick up these tokens, and I've brought my Crudger here, so when you come up here, you're going to get a Crudger stopping you, and then a Crudger and a Winged Slasher stopping you. So yeah, these guys are like, oh god, we've been on the wrong side of the board. Turn 5 now. So yep, they come up. Ready to go. Here's the Crudger, ready to come in and stop them. The Champion of the Green Lady takes on these Morax, who've been bait the whole time. He countercharges with the knights into one of the Orclings, and obviously kills them. And then as turn 6 comes round, oh, he's done 1 damage there. Okay. Turn 6 comes round, so I just send the other Orclings into these knights to stop them, and my Orcs with my tokens are just kind of happily sidling forwards. We decide to take out this annoying Healy Green Lady with the Crusher. We're now well away. Crusher goes into horses. Here, because here's the Winged, who I picked up the other token on, by the way. Yeah. So it's not looking great. We managed to kill the Champion of the Green Lady on a counter charge. We do 3 points. Oh, that's right. The really hitty knights do 7 points of damage onto my Crudger, but he's okay. He does finally manage to kill that annoying Morax regiment, but it's way too late, really. The attrition is fine. And yeah, the Orclings die. I've got a Crusher ready to go in. I've got a War Drum ready to go in. And these guys are just already in that half of the table. That's the last slide of that game. So it ends up being a very crushing victory. So I've got 3 here, 3 here, and 1 here all in that half of the table, so it's 13-0. But it's not important for the scoring, because the scoring in this tournament is all about kills. But yeah, not a bad win. And what a gentleman he was, despite his ghastly models, which I rather like. So let's... then we had lunch. where they had Christmas presents awarded by the Moonrakers. What nice people. So everyone got a Christmas present. Oh, I got a game of Unstable Unicorn, which I rather like. Let's move on to Game 3. Alright then, so we're into Game 3. Game 3 was against Richard, playing his Undead. I've never played him before. He's a relatively new player. Maybe in the last year or two, I don't know. He's from London region, I want to say. But a very, very nice guy. Which doesn't get away from the fact that he's playing Undead. And this is his list. Now, of course, it is possible just to take a bunch of darts, and throw them at the Undead army list and come up with a decent list. And that's what he's done. So he's got a bit of everything in here. He's got a regiment of zombies, 2 troops of wraiths, some soul reaver infantry with elite because they're not nasty enough on their own. Rev Cav troop, werewolf horde with brew of strength, which is nice. Zombie trolls with brew of sharpness. Gross. Some whites with Strider, a Gorblight, which I love, a Lycanis with a Staying Stone, and he's got the Slayer aura, which is New Howl of the Wolf, which goes nicely with the werewolves. He's got a Vampire Lord with the Trickster's Wand and Mounted, which is interesting. Trickster's Wand giving you Hex, of course, and double Necromancer. One has got the Aura of Vicious to go, I assume, with the zombies. And they've both got weakness. One's got Bane Chant, and the other one has got Scorched Earth. So 13 units, which is, not bad for Undead, I'd say. Yeah. Pretty scary, as Undead always are. So this is our battlefield. So we have this big height 6 building up here. And then we have these awful hills, and oh my god, there's one here and the one here, height 3, but they are the tallest hills you would ever imagine, nearly impossible to play on. So of course we spent most of the game playing on them. Height 6 forests, and then 2 walls, and then this flat pond. So just as sparse as previously, but much less shooting. And we were playing pillage. So ignore these dice, which obviously is Richard's deployment area. But the pillage tokens, you can see there's one here, and one here, and one here, and here. So 7 in total behind the building up there. Okay, so that's also my squeaky chair there. So that's what the battlefield looks like. Capture the most objectives and you win. Turn 1. So I forgot to take pictures too quickly, but I won turn 1, which was lovely for me. Richard's obviously set up, so I'll quickly go through deployment, and then I'll talk about my turn. So over on Richard's left side here is the werewolves and the Lycanis, and you've got the 2 wraith troops here. That's the Rev Cav troop at the back. These are the soul reavers. You've got Vampire and Necromancer 1. This is the guy with Bane Chant. These are the whites. That's the Gorblight, that's the zombie trolls, and I think there's the Necromancer for these zombie trolls and for the Gorblight to give them vicious, and that's the zombies, who are obviously going to come and sit on this token behind the building for the whole game. So on my side, I've set up a little bit differently, because obviously I can't just kind of plough through the middle, I have to think about tokens. So I've got Orclings and Axe here. I've got one of the troops here. I just got the 2 Morax here, and then my characters. So you've got War Drum, Standard Bearer, Crusher, and Crudger. Okay, and then the left-hand side I've loaded quite heavily. So I've got my Skulk Raiders, the Dragon, and 2 Morax. So the plan here, there's a token under them here. There's a token there, so I want those 2. So I'm going to try to kind of see as he was laying out. I think I can dominate this side with just what I've got here. Okay, so that gives me those 2. And then I've got one in the backfield here, so I can always get somebody back onto that later. And I just need one of those 2. Okay, so I have to win against this horrible wall of hittiness. So that's my plan. So I've come up quite aggressively on the left. I can see over with the dragon, so that's pretty good. And I just kind of trundled forward on the right. That's what that looks like, and that's what that looks like. Oh. That's him measuring out his response. Look at that. So keen to get into me. So he's pushed forward very aggressively, as Undead kind of will, because they're so durable. He's just kind of a wall of nastiness, so he's got everything in kind of a nice arc like this, because realistically, can't take anything off in one hit with what I've got here. And he's conscious of that. So he's moving forward, just to kind of challenge that. He then cast, I don't think he cast weakness this, maybe he did cast weakness. Certainly, right, so his necromancers here and here have weakness, and they cast it pretty much every single turn, and they were successful pretty much every single time. He didn't fail a single weakness roll the whole game, so I had to be using Bane Chant just to get up to my normal Crushing Strength 1 for the whole game, so bear that in mind. So turn 2, we just kind of closed lines. So I moved my Skulk Raiders and my dragon up onto the hill, because that gives me a lovely view down the line here. Okay, so that's a pretty nice position for a dragon to be in. And I've got these two kind of sitting. One's on a wall, which is unfortunate, but essentially nothing's really going to come in. I mean, he could send his wraiths into me, but they're not going to win that battle long term. And then I kind of moved my Orclings into the Soul Reavers, and then everything else up like this. And really, I think I committed my chaff too early, if I'm honest, because I was very nervous about how his hitting power. He can one-shot a lot of my stuff. And also, I'd allowed my hordes to be double and triple charged in the last game. I just really didn't want it to happen again. So I put Orclings into the Soul Reavers, and I put these Skulk Riders into the Whites. And then the other Orclings into these Trolls. Okay? So hopefully out of this, well, obviously they'll all die on the counter charge, but I will get something in next turn. That's my plan. But I have committed too early, really, haven't I? Because all I've got is Axe. I've got these Morax on a hill, but they're too far away. So I have committed too early. Bad start. So in response, so look how high this hill is. It's just ridiculous. So he sent a simple troop of wraiths into these guys at the front. They're on the hill there. Okay, and he's just moved these werewolves kind of around to be threatening. So I can't see them with my Morax. And then he's sent his Gorblight into my axe here to hold them off. That's the 1 damage from that Cloak of Death, which is nice on everything. And the other troop of wraiths went into this axe. So basically he's immediately out-chaffed me, and I've lost all my chaff in the first turn, so not the best start. 3 damage from the Gorblight on them, or 2 damage plus the thing, and obviously those guys died immediately. Both these and these are dead. 4 damage on them, and they're okay. So I've got 1 piece of chaff left, but it's on the wrong side. And now he's blocked up both my hordes and killed all my chaff. Bad. Yeah, not great. Turn 3. What happens here? So we multi-charge. So we can obviously see the wraiths on the hill here. And I managed to get the hindered Morax into them. And I've got my other Morax just popping up on the hill so I can see over. Okay, so if anybody comes up to try and kill me, that's what I do. So in order to do this, I have to send off my Winged Slasher. So I send him into the Rev Cab at the back because no one else can see him, and it seemed kind of fun. And then I'm not 100% out of chaff. I still have some stuff. So I'm going to try and kill off these wraiths. And to do that, I have to send my Crusher into the Soul Reavers and my Crudger into the Whites. Okay. However, we are a little bit out of luck with the Trolls. So all we have to do is basically so I have my Morax up on the hill here, over there. They were. And I send them over the wall into the flank of the Gorblight with the Axe Horde in the front. So hopefully kill it so that when... That's the noise of my dog shaking himself. When the Trolls come in to kill one of them, the other one can countercharge and hopefully do some damage. So over here, very pathetically, we do 6 damage and don't kill these wraiths that will not die. Worse, the Crudger does, on the Winged Slasher, does 6 damage to the Rev Cav unit and doesn't kill them either. I do 1 point of damage to the Soul Reavers from the Crusher. Go boy, which is important because he's not mighty. And 2 points of damage from the Crudger on these guys so they're not flying. So okay, we've done our jobs. And we kill the Goblins. So not a bad turn 3. I'm in a slightly better position than I was. Just. That's showing exactly the same thing again. Not sure why. Was it the same way? Yep. Okay. Just very enthusiastic about taking pictures by this point. Maybe because it was a good turn. So, which is turn 3. Obviously, trolls coming to Morax. Look, the Crudger is so affronted. He's fallen over. Ah, that's happened. Sadly, although the Crusher had done damage, it was perfectly possible for a withdraw move to there, and then a turn, and then a charge. So silly me. I didn't take a picture of it, but I killed the race that went to this axe horde with the axe horde, and then I turned them. Which allowed a charge. I left it at an angle where they could get the charge in, which is poor. And then this vampire, who's of course got Duelist, has gone into my Crudger. So, bad. That's not good. Everything's bad. It's all bad. Even worse, I turned this other Morax this way to try and help out over here, just in case. And now I've got no line of sight on this combat. So smug about that last turn. So, over here, the werewolves have come into this troop. The wraiths have countercharged the Morax. So the troop disappears. The werewolves back up, but not quite enough. I think they back up a 1. And they needed more than a 1 to get off the hill, which is unfortunate for Richard. But my Crudger dies to white, which is not overly surprising, I guess, because they do punch like us. Anyway. And then 5 damage on the Crusher, but he survives. Go, Crusher! Ah, he's wavered though. Never mind. Oof, look at that. 15 damage from the Soul Reaver regiment onto my axe. But we survive! He rolls a heroically low nerve check, which is very pleasing. These yellow tokens, by the way, are indicating weakness. Because as I mentioned, all of my stuff is weakened all the time. Look. Weakened. Every turn? Man, weakness is good. So, and then the trolls kill off my Morax, of course. And now we have bad times. I need to kill the trolls in a single go. But look, there's a wall. What can we do about that? I shall show you. Turn 4. We do this. Isn't it clever? So this is actually after the combat. So I put the war drum and the axe into the trolls at the same time. So the war drum being here, the war drum is hindered, but then the axe are unhindered. I do have a hit on 4s, which is garbage. So we don't do a lot of damage. And then we double run it as well. So my first double run of this game. Third double run of the tournament. Anyway. I don't kill the these guys here in the second charge because he's turned like I didn't show you last turn, but he turned Lycanus around. So if I'd have stayed there, I would have got rear charged by Lycanus if I didn't kill him the second go. I probably would have done it, but I thought it might be more interesting to jump over because I wasn't damaged. He didn't do any damage to me on the counter charge, and then face down here because that's a much more punishing position to be in. I did forget completely about the Vampire Lord though, so that's my bad. Also, Lycanus is speed 18, so he's going to get charged around. It's a stupid move. I didn't do well. You see, I've moved back here with this guy out of the way. What's happened here? Yes, I managed a double charge on the hill. So these guys, don't forget, on the left were down here. These guys were in the wraiths. So I managed to turn, come up, and these hills were so high. I think I could do it, and we're like, well, could you do it? Because I've already moved by that point. I think I was so confident. Anyway, don't have high heels, guys. So we double charge into the werewolves with both of the Morax. Did I even flank charge it as well? Possibly, with the war drum. And then what happened here? So I counter charge with the axe. I'm not quite sure. I've moved the Morax here. But look at my line of sight. I've again left them out of line of sight of these Soul Reavers, which is very silly. Very silly. Not my finest game. We put 6 damage onto the Soul Reavers with the axe, weakened with a Bane Chant. So back to Crush 1. So that's not enough to do anything worthwhile. Do we kill them? Do we not kill them? Really? I thought I did. I really thought I did. Well, maybe I didn't. Clearly I didn't. So he put 2 Morax into the... That's rubbish, isn't it? Oh, they're wavered, aren't they? Look at that. So 2 Morax, that's 40 attacks. Right? 20 of them on 3s and 4s. 20 of them on 4s and 4s. And a war drum potentially in the side. Now the war drum's facing that way, so he didn't go in the side. So 40 attacks, 6 damage. Still got a waver though. Pretty poor. So that's a what's that a view of the battlefield? We've seen that already, right? So this is the response. So you can't do a lot with these wells, so he just kind of backs them up and turns them. At this point, he's only interested with the Revcav for keeping on this token, so it might have been a better idea, my dragon, to finish the job and then just turn around. In retrospect, but you never know. Back here, what happens? So obviously this is a counter charge. That's what's happening there. Oh look, he's pointing at the counter charge. Here I am doing a counter charge. Here it is. All right, we get the point. And then unfortunately, I have not been able to avoid the double charge here. So that's wights and trolls onto this axe horde. Wah, wah. You see the zombie horde there, just happily sitting on a token. So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't. They already had that many damage, didn't they? I think, didn't they? Oh, they didn't. Yes, they did. Yeah. So I just didn't put the mega ridiculous amount of damage that they did on top of them, and they've turned like that. I still can't see them because I'm garbage. We go up to 12, 17 damage on this horde. And of course, there is a double one. So finally I get some justice. I didn't take a picture of the dice for some reason, but there is a double one here as well. So this horde has survived, which is good. But I don't really have enough to kill these guys. And then he sends both Lycanus and the vampire into my crusher on a winged slasher, which is bad. But he only takes 6 damage, which is good. So that's how the battlefield looks. So let's have a think about tokens, right? There's one down here, you can't see, and there's one on the hill. Okay. Then there is one here, here, back here, under here, and here, right? That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 of them. Okay, so I need 4 to win, or 3 if one of them is untouched. So this center one is a problem. Realistically, he's got Soul Reavers, a little bit damaged, and I've got this regiment of Morax. Now I can chaff the Crusher into them, and then send the Morax in and hope I kill. That's a thing I can do. The one on the hill I can take, so I think I can probably finish off the werewolves with 1 regiment and send the other regiment back. So that's going to be 2 for me, right? 2 over there. Over here I've got a problem, so I think I'm going to probably lose. Don't forget, there is one down here, so realistically this war drum... I didn't do this, by the way. If it turned around and made a good push, it might have actually made it. Because he's got this one here. He's got this one here, unless I can kill. And he's got this one here, so that's his 3. And he's probably going to get that one, so that's 4. So I really need this to survive. That's what needs to happen. So we countercharge. This is turn 5, but I've got to take a photo of the dice again. Bad me. I countercharge into the troll and knock them off with my 17 damage horde. But I'm going to get whited next turn, aren't I? Look, I think I know why. I put the war drum into the whites because I didn't want them to fly away. Looking at it again now, they're not going to. They're much too strong. So if I'd taken the war drum to run off this way, maybe the whites would have chased after me. Yeah, they would have done, wouldn't they? So they would have gone into here, killed them, and the next turn come and killed me. So no good anyway. And over here, so as predicted, I put the Crusher into the guys here, and I turn my Morax again. They're going to be a hindered charge. Hopefully it's enough. And by the way, that's 6 damage on my mage is because I think the vampire got off a hex. He got off a hex, and I still cast Bane Charm successfully with both dice. So, yeah, we kill the werewolves with this regiment, and we turn this regiment around so they can go back to the token. So I turn the Wing Slasher to attack Lycanus because I don't care about the vampire going there. I care because he's quite strong, but he doesn't double his attacks in the flank, whereas Lycanus does. fluff the attacks a little bit, so we only get 5 damage and he's fine. Really regretting not killing off the Rev Cav. Oh, there's double one. Right. I'm sorry, I've told you wrong. How poor. So this double attack went in here, right? 17 damage. That's right, and he rolled a 3 for his nerve. Right? Then the whites go in. Okay. There's actually another 9 damage there. Or even, it's a lot more. I think it's another 9 damage on top from the whites. And that's when the double one happens. Man, I should really pay attention to myself. Note, Horde once again weakened every single turn. So, I'm now devastated and weakened. So, great times. However, keeps the whites off me for another turn. So actually, if I'd have turned around my war drum and got out, he'd be scot-free. Be away. Man. So, the vampire decides that it doesn't need to worry about the winged slasher. Comes in to kill off the crusher. Along with, he doesn't really need to. Come on, lads. Jeez. Lycanus takes on my winged doodah. Puts him up to 9 damage. Wavers him. Which you think, that's okay. He's got fury. Yeah, but then he's got fury, so he has to countercharge. He can't come and kill these guys. Boo. I do kill him on the countercharge. This is turn 6 now. So I do kill him on the countercharge. We do not kill the whites on the countercharge. Even with a war drum in the rear. And even worse, catastrophically, game-losingly, I do not kill the Soul Reavers. Front charge. A hindered front charge. Because, guess what? We're weakened. Again. So I put them up to 8 damage. I don't manage to roll the requisite 9 to kill them twice. Unsurprisingly. Countercharge there, kills my Axe Horde. Crushes up to, and Wind Flashes up to 11. Still not dead. It's great. So he sends his vampire back across, hurtling across the battlefield into him. Doesn't kill him. However, the Morax are dead, and that's the end. Because, as you can imagine, I don't have a lot of things left. So if I didn't take a final, which is very rude of me, because I really should think of you guys. Let's go to the big battlefield. Shall we go? Right. So these guys are dead. These guys are dead. These guys are dead. These guys are dead. He's dead. All right. There we are. So he's got, these whites are on 1, so that's -1. That's 1 to him. The Soul Reaver's on this one, so that's -1. He's got his Rev Cav -1, and he's got his zombies -1, so that's 4 to him. I have the one on the hill, I have the one back here, and I do not have this one down here because I failed utterly. So that's a real shame. But I think it wasn't a really close game, as you can see. I've still got some things left on the battlefield, particularly on the left flank. If I'd have made a couple of different decisions, it might have gone quite differently. Killed off these guys and moved the war drum down here. It might have been a different game. However, I did not. So, bravo to Richard, who, by the way, went on to win the tournament. So I didn't, well, not that I mind losing at all. It was a very good game and a very charming man. So let's move on to game 4. Okay, into game 4, which was against Dangerous Dave and his Abyssals. Dave was actually the spare player who was playing, and jolly good for him too. Very nice man. Not met him before. I think I have met him before. I've not played him before. So he was playing Forces of the Abyss. Quite an elite list. I've not put how many units it was, but I think it's 12. Let's quickly count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 12 units at 2,300. And not a great deal of unit strength, but very punchy with a deceptive amount of firepower. So he's got a regiment of succubi, which he's given the Pathfinder upgrade and the Hammer of Measured Force. A horde and a regiment of ghouls. 2 hordes of Molochs, and really these are the punch. A lot of punch. One of them's sharpness. They've both got the upgrade. They've both got sacrificial imp, and the other one's got strength. Double Cronus. Triple Abyssal Fiend, a Seductress with a Gnome Glass Shield to go with the Succubi, and a Warlock with Veil of Shadows and Talk of Dissonance. So, we are playing Dominate, which is extremely bad for Dave's Abyssals, because I chose choice of size, and I chose this side. Imagine the centre of the board is around here. He's got this house. High 6 house. So let's do the terrain. High 6 house, high 6 forest, high 6 forest. Is exactly the same as every other board. Double hill, double wall, flat pond. Okay. So the centre of the board is here, and he's facing orcs. An army that so hilariously out-unit strengths him is not even funny. Plus, he's got a split either side of this building. It's just like, not a great scenario. So I just kind of set up in a kind of like lol formation. So on his side, he's got, so these are the regiment of ghouls. That's the horde of ghouls. These are the succubi. That's Acronius, and that's Acronius. And then you've got fiend, and you've got Molochs. I think these guys are the ones with sharpness. There's the Abyssal Warlock. There's the Flying Lady, Succubi Lady. And then mine, you hopefully know my army by now. You've been listening or watching rapturously into this report. But double Morax, axe and axe. And then we've got chaff here. So he's got a lot of shooting. So chaff behind, Morax first and chaff behind them. Double Orclings there. We've got now Skulks here and Skulks here. There's a, whatever that's called. I think, is there both there? No, yeah, the War Drum. There's my Crudger. There's the Winged Crudger. So the plan here is I'm going to, bear with me, this is revolutionary. I'm going to walk forwards. So I'm just going to go forwards, both sides of the house. I'm going to stick the Winged Slasher here, so you can go both ways. And then I'm just going to bring these guys around the side. And I don't think he'll be able to kill enough to just out-unit strength me. Let's see. Yep, so that's how it looks. Nice looking army. And there's mine. Oh, I've really just been through all that. Have a little look. Isn't it nice? Moving on, turn 1. So even worse, I win turn 1. What day? And I enact my plan, so we all trundle forward hilariously. I think I cast Veil of Shadows, and I think I fail. I do, however, shoot these guys into these guys. We do 1 point of damage. Skills. So Dave moves up like this. So essentially chaff forward and then shooting guys kind of waiting to go, which seems sensible. So he's got everyone ready to kind of fireball the living snot out of me, which he proceeds to do. Let's see it. Not very well. So that's the Warlock, maybe fire bolting in cover for 1 point of damage into them. They're fine. And that's turn 2. Wow. Shooting, maybe it's shooting 12 inches, isn't it? So it's quite short range, so that's probably why. Turn 2. So I put my Orclings there, rather than kind of give myself, because I really don't want to be charged by this. Sharpness guys, they will kill me. I've sent my Crusher all the way over here because I've got my eyes on you. Oh look, I've done 3 points of damage there, so maybe it's the other shooty guys? Who knows? Who knows what's going on anymore? But I put Crusher over here because I want to stop this Warlock shooting me. So I'm going to send my Crusher into him. So we look like that. So we've chaffed him up and now we're ready to kind of come in. So Dave takes the bait. So Ghoul goes into Orclings. Everyone else kind of hangs back and he starts shooting now. Succubus comes in. So Succubus flies over and comes into my War Drum. Okay. Out of line of sight of my Crudger here, which is bad. Not this Crudger though. No, it's not out of line of sight. No, I think it is out of line of sight. And then he double charges Cronius and Ghouls into the Orclings, so they're not long for this world. What was that? Oh yes, they took a massive 8 points of damage. Ooh. Anyway, they died. Those guys though, so Ghouls into Orclings. Orclings are tougher than Ghouls. Spoiler warning. 2 damage. 2 damage there. That's a 1 point of damage there is from the Cronius's Cloak of Death. Turn 3. So turn 3 at this point you will notice conveniently there's a problem. Dave's made a mistake. Can you see the line here? So the corner of the Succubi is sticking out and I've got a bloody baby dragon right down there kind of looking that way. So we take that charge. We flank the Succubi, which is brilliant because they are ensnaring. That's not bad. That's not bad for me. And then we send my Pathfinder axe into this Cronius. And then, oh yes, oh look. Over here, Succubi here, of course, I'm in the flank with these guys here. So I move the war drum back. Like that. Or sideways, that's right. I withdraw 1 inch and sidestep, which allows me to flank with the Morax onto the Succubi, whatever she's called. She's dead soon anyway. So lots of flanks there on that side. That's very nice. And then I just kind of go in. I think, oh, I've got enough stuff. I'll just triple charge. So I send my Crudger into this Cronius to hold him off a little bit. I send everything, all 3 units, into this Horde because I need to kill it. I even Bane chance it. I'm really over the top at this point. That's just showing that charge, I think. Amazingly, ridiculously, these acts roll like bosses. Like bosses. Even though they're hitting on 4s. We kill a Cronius in a single go. Insane. We also kill the Succubi in a single go, which is good. They're gone. Only 10 wounds, but enough. Unfortunately, I realise at this point that whatever I do, I'm getting flanked by Molochs. That's not good. So that dragon's going to die again. You see that? That is 11, 12, 13, 16 wounds and a 1 on the ghouls. It's bad, but actually it's kind of okay. Because now these Molochs are so close. They can't do anything. They're stuck. You see my Crudgers there into the Warlock. He fails to do anything. I think he does 1 wound. Enough to stop him casting, so that's good. We go back in 3 damage onto the ghouls from the Orclings. Go, Orclings. And I think I'm set up here. I think I do a Fireball. That's what he's there for. I Fireball these guys for 4 damage, which is great. Good work. What else over here? Yeah, nothing. I think he backs the Molochs up a bit. And then he countercharges these guys so he can shoot these guys. Yeah, which is why they've got damage on them now. And then Fiend into this Horde. Flank charge from Molochs here. Countercharge. You'll see the lady died down here to these Morax. 7 damage. Well, not bad. You've got to admit, that's not bad. From the shooting onto these guys, put some on. Oh, there were on some already, but that's the shooting. I think it's sort of include Cloak of Death and that kind of stuff. Only 4 damage from the ghouls onto these guys. And everyone's fine. We're all fine. We're not bothered. Carry on. What's happening on this sideways screenshot I forgot to rotate? Oh yes, my dragon is dead. 5 damage from the feed onto that Horde, and they're feeling still rather peppy. So his Warlock, I did 3 damage to him, didn't kill him. The Warlock comes back, no damage on me. So that's nice. Turn 4. So moving on to turn 4. What do I do? So I managed to get my Morax. So this Morax was obviously here. It now sees the flank, so we can definitely kill these guys here. But he didn't need to do this flank. Massive overkill. They've already got this much damage. But I think it allowed me some positioning things, maybe. And then I send this Morax over here into these ghouls because I need to get rid of them. I can sort this out. I'm going to carry on fireballing here. We countercharge into the Fiend. Yep, so I told you about that already. So Fireball puts him up to 11 wounds, which is a lot. A lot. Is that a woof? That is a woof. It's a woof wavered. So 11 wounds just from Fireballs. Managed to waver these Moloch, which is brilliant news. The Fiend's on 6 damage. He's okay. The ghouls are finally dead. And at this point, the Molochs are looking a bit scared. Because you've now got double Morax facing you. Plus all these guys. Yeah, you're already on a lot of wounds. That's not great. Over here, so I've taken my Crudger out of here to charge. Because this guy's height 4 or 5, I think. 5. This guy's height 6. So I can see him. So I nimble charge him, allowing the Morax to come in. Because I killed off these guys last turn, obviously. I've then put these guys up here to be charged by the Sharpness Molochs, and I'm ready to charge next turn. It's going rather well. Another point of damage onto the Warlock. Still didn't kill him. This is turn. I've been in this since turn 2, I think. Still haven't killed him. Fine, we'll carry on there. I actually charged him. It doesn't quite fit. 5 damage, but he's okay. They're okay, rather. What's going on there? I think that's the same thing again. Exciting. Okay, that's the same thing again. Very exciting. Good job, me. Taking lots of pictures here. Yes, and again, that's still very much the same picture. So that is the counter charge from this Cronius. So the Cronius only 2 damage from the Morax, which is bad. And they are now, so they were on 8 before, and now they're on 13 damage, but still not dead. Lads, go on. They're a dash 17, don't forget. However, the Crudger is dead, which is sad, because I like that model. He's been killed by a fiend. You fiend! How could you? And the Molochs obviously counter-charge into the Skulks, and they kill them. And they overrun a massive amount right into my units. Unfortunately, I can't get a flank there. It's a hindered front there, so that's not great, is it? We're up to 9 damage here from this fiend, but still here, still okay. So rather than double Morax, which has got a bit complicated with the positioning, this Morax goes into the fiend, along with I think the axe just sidestep actually. Yeah, the axe step back, and the Morax go in on a flank, and we then send these guys into these Molochs here, the strength Molochs. Double charges here, so we charge in and we charge in. Still got this horde has done nothing. All game, nothing. So that fiend dies. The Molochs die. Nothing over here dies. Still haven't killed the Warlock. These guys are on 8 damage, not dead. This guy's on 8 damage, not dead. 0 damage here, 0 damage here. And this guy's on 6 damage and still not flipping dead. We've been hacking away turn after turn. So then I take double charge of Fiend and Cronius onto these Morax, who are going to die because they're on a ton of damage already. Sharpness Molochs into these guys, who are going to die because they're on a ton of damage already. So yeah. And then this Fiend turns around to Fireball, or whatever he does with his special attack there. So they die. Big overrun. They die. Turn 6. But at this point, I started to do some sums. So this is a very handy photograph of the board. Don't forget, the centre of the board is rough. Oh, it's where this token is. This token is centre of the board. Right, so I've got these guys are in and definitely not going to die. I put the I put the war drum into these guys to hold them off. So they've no damage on these guys, so they're fine. Turn 6. These guys are in. I think even these guys are in. So I send these Morax into this fiend. I've got a lot of stuff in, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unit strength to my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 9, 10, 11. It's a lot. It's fighting an uphill battle from the start, really. Very painful. Anyway, that guy dies. Where does he die? I shoot him. Look, this Warlock has really been amazing. Fireball here. Get rid of him. Go Orc, whatever you're called. Godspeaker. Good skills. So 8 damage there, but he's okay. I mean, it's turn 6, guys. It's turn 6. He's now on 7 damage. After what, 4 or 5 turns of relentlessly trying to kill this guy, he refuses to die. Also refuses to do any damage to me in return. You know, we're still here. War Drum, I think, does a point of damage there. Yeah. Oh, look, he finally gets his own back. 2 damage on me, but I'm okay. 3 damage from the Fiend on that Horde, and they're okay. 4 damage from that Fiend onto the Regiment, and they're okay. But the War Drum does die to the Sharpness Moloch, so that's bad. Very bad. And there's a turn 7. So turn 7, I just kind of move everything in, because realistically, these guys are going to come in here. This Horde will almost certainly die. But then I've got 3 unit strength, 4 unit strength, 5 unit strength, a War Drum, there's just... Yeah. So we do some damage, just up to 7 there. We kill off that Fiend. We kill the Warlock, guys. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. It took me turn 7, but I got him. I finally got him. Ridiculous. And then he comes in with his sharpness Moloch, unfortunately hindered on the wall. In fact, I forced him to be hindered, I think, because I attacked with the war drum as well into the fiend. Oh, this was very clever of me. I was quite impressed by that. So the war drum came into the side of the fiend when the axe went in the front. We killed him, and I overran with the war drum. Right? What that does is force the Molochs onto the wall, so it has to be hindered. So they're only hitting on 3s. Boo-hoo. So, anyway. He puts them up to 16 damage, which is a lot, but I think he doesn't roll the nerve check. Oh, that's the prizes! And that's the end of the game. So I do win quite conclusively in that last game, but definitely not Dave's fault. It's just the wrong matchup, the wrong scenario, and the wrong table layout. I would have had to play like an absolute donkey to lose. Look at that! So that's how the prizes were. Mr. Matthew James, Chair of Rules Committee, had made prizes. So everyone got a prize, and they were all a mystery, and they all had a hilarious joke in them. So with my placing, I placed 4th, which isn't bad. I put a few points off a 3rd, I think. See, are you happy with your selection? Is the Cadbury so terrible? The man actually does stand-up comedy. No one can believe it. So yeah, that was my tournament. So just a few army photos to finish off. And that's John Guns's army from my first game. Very, very cool. And that's a big werewolf army from Danny Greaves. So it was a good tournament. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised that I managed to last as well as I did through 4 games. It probably helped because I had such a simple army to play, and that's kind of where I got to. So obviously it did very well. I won 3 and lost 1 and came 4. So was my army there. Which is pretty good. But I've got to say, it was a little bit boring to play because it doesn't do anything particularly interesting. It trundles forwards, it hits things, and then it either dies or the other things die. And I don't know what it is about the army that just kind of had me going, yeah, this is a bit dull after 4 games. So I'm probably going to try and make it Riftforged. This, by the way, was my favourite army. And if I pop back, you will recognise this army if you've been watching my channel. This is Russell's army, who plays me in my battle reports. He's beautifully 3D printed, and it won Best Painted, so I was absolutely thrilled for him because he's worked really hard on making it really cool. Absolutely desperate to play a troll army, and he finally made. I think he went 2 and 2, I think, in the end, which is not bad. And he won Best Painted, so bravo to him. But this is Nick Davies' Trident Realm, which was my favourite. Which was just breathtakingly beautifully painted. The guy is a genius. And he was TOing because Matt James set up the tournament and then didn't bother coming. He had something else to do. So Nick kindly picked it up, and he's just, these incredible models. So yeah, great time. Really nice opponents. Lovely games. Lovely atmosphere. Bristol is an independent gaming store. It's very, very cool. Look at those. Aren't they brilliant? Just great. Oh, God, the guy's a genius. So yeah, that's all for now. Oh, that's in the slideshow. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this. If not, you've just sat through well over an hour of nonsense for you. Let's go to my army. There you go. There you go. I've only done a series of hobby videos on them. Might as well show them off for now. I'm going to go and make them Rift Forged by adding some stuff. Until next time, I can't think of a closing statement. What am I supposed to say? We'll see you next time on Death by Dragons.